Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely Saturday. So yes, I was on earlier today kind of doing the deep dive for the GED people. And right now I just kind of found this lovely thing, this gem that I've had for such a long time. And it's actually for my people that are taking either the T's or the H as a HESI, HESI, for nursing. So I looked and I found like the basic math skills that you're going to need for your assessment. So if that sounds like something that you would like to, practice on, well, come on in. This is definitely the platform for you. And it's not for subscription. It's actually a free one. So come on in and step on up. And the recording of this will be also on my YT. So just in case you can't stay because you're watching a little bit of football, trying to chill. But guess what? Chilling is not going to help you pass this test. So, so if you're here, let's go. Let's break some concepts down. You got roughly 1 hour with me as I'm doing so. So as you guys are coming on in, go ahead and hit that like. You can subscribe if you want to go to the channel, because when you guys want to be involved in the deep dive, you have to be a subscriber. That's the only way that I can hear your little 2 cents and everything, okay? So, all right. So if you're doing all that, let's go on in. All right, you take your exam next month. It's okay, Melissa. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can do. All right, so no stressing, no striving. Let's just get right in with the dive. All right, so we're going to multiply and simplify 3 1/4 times 1/16. All right, so we have choice A, 5/8, B, 13/16, C, 13/64, and D, 3 3/16. All right, so already we got some people putting some answers up. Okay, I love that. Love that initiative. You hate fractions, but guess what? Fractions is what's making the world go round. So I guess we should say this way: know thy enemy. Know them, break them on down so you know how you get up and get over and move on to what you want to do. So we have, hey Justin, how are you? PRT, are we doing that? No, we're not. So we have Zane with C, Mimi saying hate fractions, there it is, help, we got this. Turn it into improper fractions, that's it, J-Dub. Let's go, teacher, let's rock and roll, come on. Okay, BMO, we say D. Okay, Francisca, can you explain this, please? Not a problem. That's my intent. I just want to see what you guys can do first, okay? So then I got a whole series of C's. We got seahorse feathers. That's interesting. Okay, we have another J with C, Henry C, BMO C. Okay, here we go. What is PRT? Principal, rate, and time when it comes to simple interest. So we need to change these. So in order for us to change our mixed numbers into improper fraction, we got to go 4 times 3, which gives us 12. That answer of 12, we're going to add the numerator, which is 1, so that gives us 13. And we always put it over its original denominator, which is 4. Now we're going to multiply that by 1/16. Now, when you multiply, I always take a look to see if I can simplify from here. When it's a multiplication symbol in between, you do cross simplify. If it's an equal sign, that's when you cross multiply, which we're going to be doing a lot of that, especially for you guys. But don't have anything to kind of break things down. So we're just going to multiply straight across. So 13 times 1 gives me 13. And 4 times 16, that will give me my 64. And since we didn't have anything to reduce when we were cross-simplifying, that's going to be your answer. So your answer choice is C. All right, good job for those that got that one. All right, trust me, there's a whole bunch more, okay? Again, I say you got me for 1 hour, so take advantage of this. All right, so number 2. 15 is 20% of what number? Is it A, 3, B, 45, C, 75, or D, 300? Okay, how did it become 13? Because when you change mixed numbers, 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 1 in the numerator makes it 13. Okay, you always multiply the denominator with the whole number, get an answer, and then add it to the numerator. And you always go back to the original denominator. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing some 75s. I'm seeing a bunch of C's. Seeing some 75s. Do you know all of this after college? Well, Susie, this is what I do all day, every day. I was a math teacher for 22 years, and this is my 6th year of being an online math tutor. And I tutor all over the U.S., as well as I did international students, but they recently graduated. One was from Cairo, Egypt. The other one was from Nairobi, Kenya. So I knows my stuff. Let's put it that way. So, it's just like if you don't do it, you lose it. So you got to find it through practice. All right. So now I've been seeing some A's. I'm starting to see some C's, and I got a couple of D's. So let's take a look at this. So we're saying 15 is the equivalent to equals. So if I have 15 is 20%. Now 20% as a decimal, okay? So you're not just dividing it by 20. You have to change it from a percent to a decimal. So that means I'm moving this over 2 places to the left. So it's going to be 0.20. Of means multiplication. Of what number? If I don't know what the number is, I'm going to use a variable. You can use N, you can use X, you can use any letter of the alphabet except for E and I, because those are actual numbers. So now we're trying to solve this for X. So if you want, we can divide both sides by 0.20, not by 20, but by 0.20 or 0.2. Okay, when we do that, they cancel out. So now you guys are able to use your calculator, not a graphing calculator, but you guys are able to use a calculator. And then you're going to take your 15 divided by 0.2. And your answer should be 3. Okay? It should be A. Okay? It's not 20 divided by 15. It's going to be your 15 divided by 0.20. Okay. All right. Okay. No, you're not multiplying. See, that's the thing. A lot of you guys are like, no, you got to multiply. No, ma'am. We're saying 20% of what number? We're not saying 20% of 15. If it's 20% of 15, that's multiplying. We want to know what number times 20% is going to give me 15. So that means you have to divide. Okay? Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'll make the correction. Let's see. Because you never know. Oh, you know what? You're right. Okay. It is C. Thank you. But it's definitely not multiplying. This is what happens when you're working on 3 hours of sleep. So I do apologize. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Yep, it's all over that percentage. There we go. So now, number 3. Let me unshrink a little bit. Oh, a lot, because you can't see that last part. So here is the famous ones. Okay, if a train travels 270 miles in 3 hours, how far would it travel in 4.5 hours? Is it A, 300 miles, B, 350 miles, C, 405 miles, or D, 425 miles? Okay, seeing a lot of C's and also my 405s, but I'm seeing a couple D's. Okay, a lot more C's, and I'm seeing a 90. Now I'm seeing a B, a whole lot of C's, which is good, and some D's. All right, so majority of you guys are saying C's. Some of you guys are saying 90, and it's not even up here. All right, so let's take a look. So this can be solved as what a lot of your test questions is going to be, as a proportion. So you could do the division, okay? But you also can do it as a proportion. You know it's going to be miles per hours. So once you have your miles, which is 270, over your 3, that's where you get your 90. But you got to figure out how far in miles will it take for 4.5. Okay, so we have to include that 4.5. So many of you guys said 90. You have to include your 4.5. Okay, so with your 4.5, with that multiplication of the 90, that will give you your C at 405. Okay, a lot of you guys stayed here and you forgot about the 4.5. Okay, all right. Okay. So now, let's go with this one. So, at a bake scale, Josie bought 3 brownies, legal brownies. Okay, I know it's the weekend. For $1.35 a piece. She paid with a $5 bill. What change did she receive? So soul and peace, you multiplied the 90 that you got from the 270 divided by 3, and you multiplied it by the 4.5. Okay. 270 divided by 3, that's 90. So 90, you have your x over your 4.5. Multiply both sides by 4.5. And that's how you get 405. Okay, these two will cancel out, so you get your x by itself. If you wanted to, you could cross multiply. So another way that you can do for this one is 3x equals 1,215, then divided by 3. So you get your x is equal to 405. Okay. Okay. All right, Crazy Jack's got me with 95. Okay. All right. All right. So now, think about it. There's 3 brownies. That's $1.35 a piece. So you're multiplying this by 3. Okay? Once you get your multiplication, so this will give you your 405 again. but you're going to take 5 away from that answer. So if you're spending $5, you're going to get 95 cents as your change. So your answer for this is B. Okay. All right. You know, this is what we do. Just keep it nice and chill in here. Okay, there's going to be some people that really know and they're going to jump ahead and do things, which is great. Now, if you're new to my platform, I'm the type of person I'd like to take things step by step. Now, I love when people come in, they're like, I'm confused. I'm like, well, you just got here. So obviously you're going to be confused because you don't even know what the problem is. All right, so really got to get with the multiplication. And a lot of it is, I don't want to say common sense. That's kind of like common sense. But let's see. Let me zoom in a little bit for this one. So this time, sorry about that. Okay. So we need to express 20% as a fraction in its lowest term. Okay, 20%. Okay. So when we teach with that 20%, a percent, we're not talking about 110%. Anytime we think about percentages, it's over 100. Okay, so you're going to have 20 over 100. So here's the best thing that you can do. Notice both of our numbers ending with zeros. So instead of you dealing with the large, why don't you cancel out those zeros? So now we're looking at 2 of 10. Okay, 2 over 10. Now reduce it. What number does 2 and 10 have in common? What number does 2 and 10 have in common? Not 5. There we go. 2. Thank you, Celebrity. Thank you, Coles. There we go. It's going to be 2. So if you divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, you're going to have 2 divided by 2. That gives me 1. And then 10 divided by 2, that gives me 5. Okay. So when you're simplifying your fractions, especially if both of the numbers are even, you should be dividing, or it should be divisible by an even number, 2s and 4s. Okay? So now we got it to its lowest term. We can't go any lower than 1/5. Our answer is C. Okay. What do I mean in common? So I'm looking at the greatest common factors, or the least common multiple. Actually, it's fractions. Okay, so what number appears in the 2s that has 2? What multiplication does 2s and 10s both find in common? Okay, 5 is definitely not divisible by 2. So this is what I mean. If I'm looking at the 2's timetable, where do I find 2's? I find a 2 in the 1 times table and also in the 2 times table. Where do I find a 10? Well, I find 10's in the 1 times table, the 2's times table, and the 5 times table. So what multiplication is involved with both 2 and 10? It's going to be the 2 times table. That's why you want to basically divide it by 2. Okay. No problem. Okay, makes a little sense. All right. Your brain muscle is starting to rejuvenate again. All right, so right now we're at 8.6. There is 1,500 people here. Let's do a mad tap before we get to the next one. Let's go. Let's see if we can get up to 20. We should be able to get to 20 real quick. Quick mad tap. Hi, Diana. Welcome in. I have my moments. Where can you get these worksheets? Online. That's exactly where I got them. You'll be amazed what you can find for free online if you just type in what type of test you're doing. Okay. The flashbacks. It's like, oh, Bronx chicks. It's like the flashbacks. Okay, we should be able to get to 20. Keep on tapping. These worksheets are exactly designed for the HESI test. The HESI. I don't know how you guys pronounce it. I saw it, I print it, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what? Maybe somebody can find some use for this. And obviously, over 1,000 of you guys did. All right, there we go. So let's get going. All right. So how many pounds are there in 8 kilograms? Oh, yeah. Let's get that conversion. Let's see this. Let's see this. Okay, we got user 8624 saying D. Lottie is saying A. Okay, not a problem, JJ or J squared. Okay, so some C's. I'm seeing some D's. I'm seeing some A's. I don't know. Thank you, Eric, for your realness. I appreciate that because that happens. Okay, seeing some D's. 17.6. Hey, hey. All right. So we got Brandy saying 8 times 2.2. Okay, not sure. Got you. Technically 1664. Okay, that's why you're here. Hey, that's fine. Hey, Big Al, how are you? Okay. All right, so we got a nice little mixture. We're getting some A's, we're getting some C's, we're getting some D's. Well, at least everybody knows it's not exactly 16. So at least we all understand that this cannot be it. So process elimination, that's it. So one of the things we need to know roughly, and I know it this way, 1 kilogram, don't ask me how I remember this. I remember it's like roughly like 2.2, right? But then I remember 2.2, well, 2 plus 2 gives me 4, but it's always 0.5. Don't ask me how I remember it. It's the crazy things. So, if I know that 1 kilogram is going to equal this lovely amount, so sorry. If 1 kilogram is going to equal this, how much do you think 8 kilograms is going to be? So what are we going to do? We're going to multiply. Okay, we're going to multiply. So even if you just remember it as 2.2 and you multiply that bad boy by 8, you got your 16 and 1, that gives me 17. Your answer choice is going to be D. So even if you don't remember the 0.5 and you just remember 2.2 pounds is 1 kilogram, you can take it from there and you can still, as you can see, you'll still be able to get your answer. All right? Okay, no problem. Just keep it simple. All right, so the next one, I had to go back in my mind for this one because I haven't seen these in a long time. Okay. So which of these dates is represented by the Roman numeral MD XVI? I saw a couple oh my gods. I have a few D's. You'll eat these in your sleep. Awesome. Don't know. That's fine. C maybe. Okay, we got D. We got threes. We got B or D. Okay, there is no E. Rather you just say question mark. That's fine. Roman numerals. I know, J. Daniel. It's been a minute. Okay, lots of combinations. Okay, some people with 11, 16, maybe B. Okay, some C's, some D's. All right, let's see. Let's break it down. So you can't say you don't learn anything on a Saturday. Let's break it down. M, that represents 1,000. Okay. D, that represents 500. If you ever see a C, that represents 100. Okay. V, I'm going to put it over here. Okay. That's usually your 5. And then I, that's your 1. So in this case, we have M, that's our 1,000. D, that's 500. So right away, A and B is out. X, almost forgot about that. That is our 10. Okay. And then V1, that's 5 plus 1. That gives us our 6. So you have 1,516. Okay. Show this off for your friends. Girl, do you know what this number is? Hey, yeah. Check out this number. What's this number, yo? What's this number? Okay. Throw that knowledge at them. Okay. Good job, Don. Good job. Right? Hello. Hello, Machiavelli. How are you? So how do you get the C? The C is just a Roman numeral. Roman numeral equals 100. Think about it. We walk around like, yo, give me that C note. Remember that? So C note, that's 100. Okay? All right. Let's get with the next one. So go ahead and multiply. You should be giving me your answer right now. You shouldn't even be thinking about this. Catherine, you got B? Good. I should see a whole sea of answers right now. They're like, wait, Audrey, I got to calculate. No, you do not. I will actually show you. You do not have to. So I got a couple B's. I got a D. Okay. So we got some B's, a whole bunch of B's. Good. All right. Some shares, some follows. As a friend. Because I'm crazy. All right, 4 spots after that. Yes. You don't need to do math in your head for this one. Okay? All right. Now, let me show you. When you're multiplying, when it comes to decimals, it's all about how many decimal places your answer should be. So if we take a look, for the first part, this is 2 decimal places. For the 0.25, this is another 2 decimal places. Okay? So if I have 2 decimal places here and 2 decimal places here, that means my answer should have 4 decimal places. So when I come here, boom, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's out. This is only 2. That's out. This is only 3. That's out. My answer is B. Yes. No calculations. Now, if you have 2 answers that have 4 decimal places, and plus, all of them have the same numbers. Okay? If we had some with like 4 decimal places, but they're 2 different numbers, yes, do the calculation. Okay? But if your answers is exactly the same, start doing PO, process of elimination. Okay? All right, give me my answer. Number 9, let's go. You should be typing it in right now. So spam, the reason why you move it over 4 places, because the first 2 numbers had 2 decimal places. The second 2 numbers had 2 decimal places as well. 2 plus 2 is 4 decimal places. Okay, so I'm seeing a whole series of B's. I see a C. Okay, I see a B. Hey, Jocelyn, how are you? Okay. Thank you for the iHeart. Appreciate it. Seeing a whole bunch of B's. Good. A couple people that had C's now switched to B's. Good. Though it looks for, it could round up, but it's not. Because here, look at the numbers. 208, 208, 208, 208. All of them have the same numbers. So there is no rounding up. Okay? There is no rounding up. So you have 2 decimal places here. You have 2 decimal places here. So that means your answer should have 4 decimal places. Again, nope, 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 yep. Okay. So when you take these standardized tests, it's different on how you take a general classroom exam. Now, if you guys are, some of you guys are in the classroom, like you're currently in high school or middle school and you're doing all this stuff, you still have to show your work. But I'm talking to the adults that are taking their, for this, their nursing exams, the TEAS test, even sometimes GED. You guys use the same stuff. GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER. Okay, you guys go through the same things. All they care about is, did you pick A, B, C, D, in some courses, E. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So a farmer has a flock of sheep. He has 15 white sheep, 4 brown sheep, and 1 black sheep. What is the percentage of brown sheep in his flock? Okay, round if necessary, round to the whole number. Okay, so Jocelyn got 25%. Okay, thank you, Martha. Catherine saying 20%, Stephen 20%, King 25%, Don 20%, Kiss 20%, Nicolette 20%, Star 20%, Zuzu Nunu 30, Shakaria, Shar, it's like Maria, Korea, Shakaria, talk to me, 25%, Jack Mel 20%, Josh 20%. So we got something between 20% and 25%. Oh, Josh has switched to 20. Okay, brown divided by the whole. Exactly. Got 27%, 22%. All right. Well, at least we're in the 20s. So I will give you that. First off, we just really need to know part over the whole. Okay, so we're looking at the percentage of brown sheep. So there is 4 brown sheep. Over how many? 15 plus 4, that gives me 19, plus 1, that gives me 20. Okay, 2 even numbers. We could just do the long division, or we can simplify this a little bit. So if I want to, I can simplify it by 4. I could do 2, but 4 will be the highest one. So we got 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. 20 divided by 4 gives me 5. Now, you can't leave it as 1/5. We're actually going to have to do the division so we can change it to a percent. That is what they're looking for. Numerator goes under, denominator over. And I keep forgetting you guys can use your calculator. I'm so used to tests that can't use a calculator. All right, how many groups of 5s can go into 1? 0. How many groups of 5s can go into 10? 2. All right, and it goes evenly with a 10. Put my 0 in there, make it 100. So boom, no remainder whatsoever. 0.20 is equivalent to 20% once you put it over 100. Okay, so it's going to be 20%. All right. Okay, where did you get the 20? Right here. Okay. All right. Okay, that's all. This is the time. I'm telling you, this is the time, or any time you're working with any of these tutors, all these great creators that's on here, this is the time to ask for assistance. Now, this is just another nonchalant question. Okay, which numeric system does not use place values? Is it Roman, Arabic, decimal, or binary? Okay. So move the 2 plus, multiply that 0.20 by 100, and you'll get your 20%. Okay, so yes. Yeah, I don't know. Why do we need to know that? I'm not here. I don't know. So if anything, again, I told you, I just found it and I'm sharing it with y'all. So it's going to be the Roman. Think about what we did up here. Okay? Think about what we did up here. Do you think there's going to be any decimals, any points in there? No. Okay? All of this is just basically your letter representation. They don't have any decimals on there. So again, here's another fun fact that you could share with your family and friends tonight. All right. Okay. Now, keep on tapping. I love it. Okay. Keep on tapping. So let's see. Let's see if we can get up to like 45. We should be able to get up past 45. Mad tap. We got like 1,300 people here. I love this. And I'm hoping you guys are liking this too. All right. Because before you know it, this hour will be up. But I will be back at 6 o'clock today. Probably in the next hour and 5 minutes. But in the next 20 minutes, we're going to skedaddle. No? Yeah. So that's what time I started. Hey. The question before that? These were the two questions that we had before that. Okay. What time zone? Eastern Standard Time. Hey, Robert. How are you? Okay. Okay, so Kevin, if you could put a please next to that, I would greatly appreciate that. We can definitely get it up to that. Let's see if we can get it tap into like that 45. If we can get to that, then I can get started with the next one. But in the meantime, I would love to go over 10 as soon as. Thank you, sir, Kevin. I appreciate that. All right, so we understand that flock of sheep had 15 white sheep, 4 brown sheep, and 1 black sheep. So anytime we're doing something like this, it's almost like you're doing a probability type thing. It's going to be part over the whole. So they want to know what is the percentage of brown sheep in his flock. So the whole entire flock, the 15, the 4, and the 1, that all equals 20. He has 4 brown sheep. So 4 out of the 20 is going to be brown sheep. But they want us to find the percentage of the brown sheep. So when you have 4/20, you can reduce it a little bit before you go into the division. So 4 and 20, what they have in common is 4. And the way I usually do it is if I'm thinking of the 4 times table, I can see 4s in the 1 times table, the 2 times table, and the 4 times table. I can see 20 in the 1 times table, the 2 times table, the 4 times table. 4 times table, the 5 times table, right? The 10 times table, as well as 20. But the number that they both have in common, the number that they both have in common is 4. Because you could reduce that by 2, because they both have 2s, but the best one will be 4s. So when I say 4 divided by 4, that'll give me 1. 20 divided by 4, that'll give me 5. So now I want to divide 1/5 because I need to change it to a percent. So I got my 1 divided by 5. Okay, how many groups of 5 can go into 1? 0. So that's why the 0 is up there. So now I'm thinking, how many groups of 5s can go into 10? Well, 2. So 2 times 5 will give me my 10. So 10 minus 10, that's 0. But then we have this other 0 that we need to bring down. 0 times 0, or 0 times 5 will give me 0. So we have our point 20. So we need to change this decimal to a percent. So the one way I can do it is move it 2 times to the right, or you can have your point 20 and multiply that by 100. Because that's what you're doing when you're moving your decimal place over 2 times to represent the 2 zeros in the 100. So that's how you will get 20, and we're just putting our percent. Okay, how are you feeling now, Kevin? All right, thank you so much, guys. Okay. This is just some prep stuff to get people ready for the nursing assessment. It's just easier for me to say nursing assessment, but it can go for anything. Not a problem. You do the same thing. All right. Let's see if we can get this page done. And then if you guys want to come back for my 6 o'clock, we're going to be working on distributive property and finding like terms. People, we need to get that down. We need to get that down. All right, so here we go. What is the least common denominator of 1/9 and 1/12? Okay, think about what I was doing. What will be the least common denominator of 1/9 and 1/12? So some people are saying 36s. I'm seeing some 3s. And this is why I do this, because I love when people say, oh, this is easy, but I'm getting 2 different answers. Now 3 different answers. Okay. So we're trying to find the least common denominator. So that means we're looking for the least common multiple. Okay, that's the difference between greatest common factors. All right, so let's take a look. So if we're just focusing on the 9 and the 12. So for the 9, we're looking at the 9 times table. So you got 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54. I think we're going to stop right there. So now for the 12s, we're doing the 12 times table. So we got our 12, 24, 36. And I can stop here or go 48. I can stop here because the least number that is seen in the 9 times table and the 12 times table is my 36. So your least common denominator in this case is going to be 36. Okay. Okay. 12 doesn't go with Megs. 12 doesn't go with the 9. Okay. That goes evenly into both. Yes. Okay. Not a problem. All right. Awesome. Let's keep it going. All right. There might be some ASVAB people in here, but my nurses need to know this as well. Sergeant Kellogg has his men line up at 3:40 p.m. What would that be in military time? What would that be in military time? Okay, no problem. So I got my D's, got my D's, got my A's. This is why I'm doing this. Got the D's, got 1540s. Yes, got my D's, got my D's. Nice. Excellent. All right. Good. Because after 12, it keeps going. 1 o'clock will be 13. 2 o'clock will be 14. 3 o'clock will be 15. They keep going all the way to 24. So then once it's 1 o'clock in the morning, that's where it's going to be 01. All right. So that's why if you're ever involved with a military guy and you have been a civilian, don't just say, hey, babe, meet me at 4:30. They're going to look at you crazy. They're like, I'm not picking you up at no 4:30 in the morning. Trust me. Life expectancy. Okay? So you just got to clarify. Remember, they have to do that whole calculating. All right? Okay, so let's keep it going. So we're going to solve for x. Sometimes you're going to see these colons and you're like, what's happening here? Okay, 3 to 5, 81 to x. Okay, Zandy is saying C. Okay, everybody else is like, huh? C, my user 8906. Meg's is saying C. Jocelyn C. You have no idea how to solve? Not a problem. Thank you for your honesty, girl, Graham. I appreciate you. Same thing, Brian. I appreciate you. Never seen this before. I love it. That's why I do this. No clue. I got it. Question marks. Would we cross multiply? Yes, you would. Okay. Latin. Ige. Okay. Is this a ratio? Yes, it is. Okay, so we got a couple of people with the C's and the C's and Maya with the C's and no clue. Got you. Now, you know how we set up ratios and we usually set it up as fractions. This is saying the same thing. 3 to 5. Okay, 3 to 5 can be also written as 3 over 5. Okay. Your double colons can act as your equal sign. And you follow the same pattern with the second ratio. So it's going to be the 81 over the x. So what we can do from here, since it's equal, we can cross multiply. All right. So if we cross multiply, we got our 3 times our x. So that gives us our 3x. And then 81 times 5, that gives me 405. And then if you want, you can divide both sides by 3 to get you your grand, which I'm going to put over here because I ran out of room. So it gives you your 135. So it gives you your 135. So when there's an equal sign, you cross multiply. When there's a plus sign, you cross simplify. Okay, just want to emphasize that. Okay, so the colon is representing your 2. So 3 to 5. It's almost like a regular ratio. When you say ratios, it can be represented as a fraction, it could be represented as a colon, or sometimes they might be blunt and just say 3 to 5. Okay, all of this means that comparison. Part over the whole. Part over the whole. Double colon means the equal sign. Okay. We're going to see if we have a cross simplifying. Actually, I think we might, because I remember doing some. Okay. I'll show you. But are we okay with the 35? 135, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, perfect. Now, we got 15. So they want us to divide and simplify 4 1/8 divided by 1 1/2. Okay. Yep, I do tutor as well. So if you reduce 81 and 135, you'll get the same as 3/5. I think that's for K. So simplify. Okay, yep. Yes. Well, you could put them as decimals, or you can change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. Okay. All right. Thank you, Brian, for the question mark. I got you. Okay. A few people are saying C's. Okay. We got 4 over 32. We have a C's. Okay. No, it's not incomplete. It's the 135. Okay. Yeah, I'm confident with that one. Okay, so when simplified, same B, which is 4 1/4. Okay. All right, we got some A, we got a D, we got a C with Lori. Okay. Shorty for life, we got a B. All right, let's see. So we got B's and we got some C's. All right, so let's change it. So again, whole number, fraction. We multiply 8 times 4, that gives you your 32. Plus the 1 for the numerator, that gives you 33. And it's always over your original denominator, which is 8. Okay, I'm going to do the flip in a second, so calm it down. So now do the same thing with the 1 1/2. 2 times 1 gives me 2, plus the 1 gives me 3, over the original denominator, which is 2. So if I ever wanted to do this as a division, this looks crazy, right? Insane. So instead of torturing yourself with this is what we do. And a lot of people love to hear this. Keep, change, flip. Okay? So this is what I mean by keep, change, flip. You keep the first fraction. So that will be our 3/8. 33/8. We're going to change the division to multiplication because that's its inverse. And then we're going to flip. So that's where you got your 2 over 3. Now I forgot who said, how do you cross simplify? Bam, we're going to do that right here. So if we notice, right in the middle it's multiplication. Right here on the diagonals, the 33 and the 3, they can be reduced by 3. 3 divided by 3 will give me 1. 33 divided by 3, that'll give me 11. We crossed simplified, okay? Then we could do the same thing over here. The 2 and the 8. 2 and 8, they both have 2 in common. So 2 divided by 2, that's a 1. 8 divided by 2, that's a 4. So what we have, we simplified. Now we're going to multiply. What's left? 11 times 1, that gives me 11. And 4 times 1, that gives me 4. But you're like, all right, that's an improper fraction. And look at our answer choices. Let me unzoom a little bit. Look at our answer choices. Our answer choices are all mixed numbers. So we got that 11/4. I'm going to bring it over here for a sec. We have that 11/4. That is the same as saying 11 divided by 4. How many 4s can go into 11? Hopefully you guys are saying 2. All right, not 4, because 4 times 4 gives me 16. That's too much. So right away, A and B is out. 4 times 2, we got our 8. 11 minus 8, that gives me my 3. 3 is my remainder. There are some schools that are still putting a capital R3, but that's not going to help you here. The only thing that gives me a remainder of 3 out of 4 is going to be C. Okay? Because you always don't put the decimals, because there's no decimals here. What's left is our remainder of 3 over our divisor, which is a 4. Okay. Yes, I do. You can. Troy, I didn't say you can't. You can. You can convert to decimals if you want to solve. That's fine. All right. Okay, not a problem. See, here's my thing, guys. There's multiple ways. And that's the one thing that is tough for us. We had it so engraved in our head because depending on what teacher we had, we were told that this is the way you're going to do it. But there's so many ways of getting the same answer, and it all depends on your personality. It really does. It all depends on how deep you want to go, how you understand the concepts. So you feel that if I don't do it this way, I'm wrong. And I'm like, probably a lot of you guys have been doing it this way for the longest time. And you were always told that you're wrong. It's multiple ways. Okay? All right? So if you want to change it to a decimal and you can do it that way, that's awesome. Okay. Not a problem. Okay, I'm trying to look to see if there's questions that I missed. Okay. All right. When do I do tutoring? I tutor during the day and the evenings. I'm at the point where okay, we got the 3. Where did the 4 come from? I know, the kid's asking for a snack. Okay, so the 4, where did the original 4 came from? Once I simplified. So when I cross-simplified with 2 and 8. What 2 and 8 has in common is a 2. 2 divided by 2, that's where the 1 came from. And 8 divided by 2, that's where the 4 came from. So if I multiply straight across, I got my 11/4. Then, I need to carry it over here because I ran out of room. Then I divide my 11/4. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Let's see if we can get this one done. I'm going to see if we can finish this page and then we'll be officially done. So let me shrink a little bit. All right, so Mr. Sanders takes $100 from the ATM. He spends $8.45 on lunch, buys a newspaper for $2.25. Later, he spends $20 on bus tokens. How much is left from his original $100? I think we have all been through this in our lives.
Have you been feeling sad most of the time, losing interest in things you once cared about, you mean?
Okay, so I'm seeing a whole series of B's. We got our 6930s. We got our B's. We got our B's. You win. Good job. We have a couple of C's, mostly the B's. Yes. All right. Excellent. After inflation. Yeah. I know. I spent like $40 on water the other day. Just bottled water. Just regular bottled water. What's next? Air? We're going to have to spend for that? All right. So one of two ways you can do this. You can probably take your $8.45, take the $2.25, and the $20, add those bad boys up. So you got your $30.70. And then you just take it away from the 100. That's a 0. So that'll be your 30. Everything's giving me 30. And then here you got your 69. Borrow from this to make that into a 9. Make that into a 10. No, and then we had to borrow that to make that into a 9. Okay. All right, and the last one for today. Okay, so Frederica, we're at 7 hours on Monday, 6.5 hours each day from Tuesday through Friday. If she makes $10.45 an hour, what was her gross income for the week? Okay, so they want us to round, if necessary, round to the whole number. Yeah, before taxes, of course, because they want the gross income. Thanks, Andy. I know. Okay, so I got a couple people. I know. So we have Ella with $344.85, Mia with $344.85. Okay, Big Al said about 33. Okay, Just Vibes 277. Don saying about 345. Okay. Do I tutoring for middle school? The youngest I would go is 7th grade. Okay, that's the youngest I would go. Okay, so 345. Okay, Yao says 344.85. Okay, Mia said 345. Okay, or 345 with J squared, babe. Okay. We got 99 with 344.85, 345 for your eyes only. Okay. We have 331.25 with Mike V, the seating the whole number. Okay. Josh. Okay. Lady, we're saying 345 for college courses right now. Till tomorrow afternoon. Okay, well, what's the college course? Because if it's statistics, that is not mine. Okay, I know, right? Exactly, Patricia. I swear, my lives is like, okay, everyone's doing this, and there's always that one stray person. If it's not that, it's probably another tutor that's like, hey, I tutor. Well, congratulations. All right. Yes, tomorrow I do have something for that. Means whole number. Yep. So all the people with the $344.85. Okay, but if we could round it, okay, remember, round to the whole number if we can. I'm not saying you're incorrect because that is truth. But if we round it, it's going to be about 345 smackaroos, right? For a whole week. Ain't that crazy? All right, so we had to figure out what the hours were. So on Monday, it was 7 hours. Then they said from Tuesday to Friday, that's another 4 days. It was 6.5 hours. So let's think about it. So if we're saying 6.5 one day, that means 6.5 another day. So that's 13 hours. 13 plus 13, that gives me my 26. Okay, so if we have our 7 plus our 26, last time I checked, that gives me 33. And if she is making $10.45 an hour, all you have to do is your multiplication, and that's how you got the $344.85. And if we could round it, the little wave, that means approximately 345. Okay. All right. Well, excellent job, everyone. And thank you for the taps. Thank you for the attention. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Other than the Roman numerals, you probably learned something else today. Because I know I haven't seen Roman numerals in a while. If you do want to share some love, hey, you want to support a tutor? It's so much better to get support through my Cash App than through TikTok. And those that go through live, you know exactly what I mean. All right, so you're plugging in all this information. If this is something, because this is something I just randomly found, if this is something that you're interested in, okay, you're like, ooh, can we do this again? Like maybe during the week, please message me, okay? Because I don't want to keep doing all these things and taking time away from me, if I may be selfish. But if anything, just give that a thought. Now, if you want to get the replay of this one, because all my free lives, I do have the replays. This is where you can go. Go here, type in this. If you want to screenshot it, you can screenshot it. I would love for you to do all 5 of these things because all of my lives from February 2nd all the way up to last night is up, and there's something called TikTok Lives. You click on that playlist, have fun. So some of you guys were asking about rationals or radicals. Type them in, boom, they're right there. Okay, because I definitely did some stuff on radicals, not just recently, but in past lives. And the same thing with the rational functions. I did the same thing there. Okay, so you can just go there, have fun. You can just go right on there. No. Because it does not like third-party stuff. Every time, my third-party thing, it does not like. So, this was much needed. Yes, please keep doing them. Okay. Simple interest. Simple interest is there, Justin. I thought we asked this earlier. Yes, it is there. Do I do college algebra or algebra 2? Yes, I do. That is actually my jam. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so we have that. And if you need any kind of assistance, thank you so much, Diane. I appreciate that. Any kind of assistance if you need private tutoring, or if you're just getting yourself started and you're like, look, I really need practice with math because this was nice. This was an eye opener, but I really need like a slower pace. I have courses that I designed. Okay, that takes everything from the types of numbers all the way down to the rational functions. It's basically the Algebra 1 curriculum with part of Algebra 2 involved, a little bit of geometry that you're usually going to see on the assessments, as well as probability and data analysis or statistics. So if you want one for GED, for the ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, the TEAS test, or your nursing test, you guys can definitely go into the foundations of algebra, because a lot of those components plus the proportions, that's what you see a lot of. That's where you can go. Now, for all you guys, since you are nurses, if you are not following this lady, you need to follow her ASAP. A blessed RN. Definitely follow her. I just put her name in the chat. Definitely follow the Blessed RN. She does, you know how you have to do your doses calculations? She uses proportions to break down doses calculations in a way that you don't have to feel overwhelmed about the math. Now, doses calculation, mad important, okay? We ain't trying to kill people, okay? The reason why you want to become a nurse because you said you want to help people. All right, so let's not be, Dr. Death. We're not doing that, okay? So if anything, definitely follow her. If you're not already, you're following her ASAP. Exactly, Diana, exactly. Okay, now, praxis tutoring, I do. Accounting, I do not do. Okay, no, that's a different type of math for me. Okay, yes, definitely, Carmen. She is awesome. So she's on TikTok. Yes. So she's on TikTok. So definitely look up a Blessed RN. So if you need help with your doses calculations, follow her ASAP. And I know she has her own program and books as well. They're not on TikTok Shop. Yeah. So if anything, definitely reach out for that, because I'm trying to get all the basics of the math to help you to reach your goal. So a lot of it, if it's the algebra piece, I'm your girl. But when it gets down to like, hey, really getting into the nursing component, that's not me. Okay, but definitely check out a Blessed RN. Okay, yes, praxis tutoring, yes. Okay, praxis tutoring, I do help for praxis as well. Yep, she's on TikTok. Yes, Nurse Sarah, she's good as well. I don't know her personally. I know Blessed RN personally. Okay, but yes, you can also follow her as well. Okay, so there's multiple people, but here's my thing. You're not alone. Okay, you're not alone. So if this is something that would be beneficial, if you want to go into doing all kinds of things for for the nursing, more detail oriented, that's not me. But for like the algebra to things that you haven't seen since you were a fetus and now you're trying to get back into it, I'm your girl. Okay. All right, Justin, stop. Like, no, none of that. Okay. All right, so I am going to wrap up unless you guys have any questions. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Again, I'm going to take a look at my schedule to see when's the next time. And if anything, if you go to my profile, I usually have a schedule up there. So sometimes I update that one. So take a look. I might be adding something for you guys. Maybe pick another time during the week so we can complete this. Because right now, this is at number 17. And this whole packet that I found has 50 questions in it. So we got some more work to do. All right. So not a problem. Thanks for follows. Thanks for shares. And I will see you guys about in the next, 27 minutes if you want to learn a little bit about distributive property and combining like terms. All right. So if not, I'll possibly see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is ASVAB. So I got my ASVAB for my subscribers. If you want to get involved in the deep dives, you have to have a subscription with me. So you can go ahead and just hit one of my subscriptions. So anytime I have the deep dives, which is usually on the weekends, but I'm thinking about opening one up for Wednesday. So it might be for you guys. And then at 6 p.m., I have my free one as well. So then my college algebra, anybody that has taken or currently taking college algebra that needs some assistance, I'm opening up like an office hour at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, so 11 o'clock, ASVAB deep dive, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all this, for college algebra, and then 6 o'clock for a free opening up with midpoint and distance formula. Alrighty. Okay. Have a great class. Nope, not doing pre-calculus. Pre-calculus is for tutoring. Alright. Oh, no problem. Okay. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, or I'll see you in a few. Take care.